OTBSpreads prediction show coming to you live May 13th. Midweek run-up, Wednesday, guys. We've got a nice little MLB slate today. I'm not going to go over the Yankees and Orioles, Angels, Guardians as they have kicked off or are about to kick off. But we will have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13-game slate, another full 15-game slate like we had yesterday. And man, we're on the winning side. If you were to take every line that I took yesterday, you would have profited. Or not every line that I took, every line that I talked about, you would have profited, as we won more on the YouTube show than we lost and called. But I will tell you, I was a little surprised about the Dodgers last night, man. Those bats have not been alive. The Giants have now beat them 5 games in a row. And the Giants are not even a good baseball team. But they just have the Dodgers number, man. I don't know if they know their calls, their signs, what it is, but they've got a significant edge over them, even with the Dodgers having a significantly better starting rotation, better bats in the lineup. It's just, it was impressive. And look, Hauser has been got by Freddie Freeman many times, and Freeman really didn't even have that great of a game yesterday. So I'm eager to see what happens in that game tonight. Ohtani's on the bump. I would have to think that Ohtani's going to keep it lower scoring. I would have to think that the bats at some point in this series, in the last 5 games, the 3 in San Francisco, now 2 in LA, the bats haven't been there for the Dodgers. At some point, they got to wake up. But let's go ahead and get into this first game, guys, without further ado. If you want my premium plays, just go ahead, use the code word EDGE. Click on the Winible link. It's in the descriptions posted there. You are looking at Blowout Alert. This is the best data and analytics in the business. If you want to know exactly what Ryan O'Hearn's been doing this year, you just click on his name. It'll show you how many total bases he's got, how many hits, when's the last time he's really had a good game, what his batting average is, all the things that you need to know, slugging percentage, all the way down here to the pitchers, their ERAs and where they're at. Obviously, Mitch Keller's the better pitcher on the bump today. It's showing us Mejia here for the Rockies, but last time I checked, it looked like it was Quintana. So if it's Quintana, man, I kind of like the Rockies here with the plus money, plus 150 in this spot. Look, Mitch Keller's a great pitcher. He's trending in a great direction right now, but he's due for some regression. The Colorado Rockies have some good bats. We saw that yesterday in the 1-3 win with the Pirates. There's times where the Pirates bats go cold on them. They tend to strike out sometimes. Quintana's played fairly well this season. He's had some good stuff with him. So I like what I've seen with him. And for the value at plus 150, and to see, the aces, the ace and Paul Skeens out there yesterday, and the Rockies able to keep it relatively close. 1-3 is, just finding a way to steal a couple runs late. And they weren't able to do it. We saw that the other day with the Yankees and Orioles. Yankees led 2-0 through 7 innings, and then a 3-run shot gave the Orioles the win. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that in this game. The Rockies bats get after them a little bit here. They've got some really good guys in this lineup with Moniak, Goodman. I don't know if Beck's fired up tonight, but even Beck, Britton Doyle's not a bad bat. Tovar, you've got some decent bats in this lineup. So with that said, man, I'm going to go Rockies plus money, plus 150 on the money line for the flat-out value in a true, what I believe, 50-50 game. I believe there's no true edge here for either team. So in a coin flip, give me the plus 150 for the value here. All right, into the next one. Washington taking on Cincinnati Reds in Great American Ballpark. Lodolo's looked awful. Irvin's looked awful. I think this game leans on the over here. Over 9.5 runs. I think it'll be a higher scoring affair. But I lean towards the side today. Once again on the Washington Nationals, for the simple fact, I just think the better bats are in this lineup, man. You can't beat James Wood, Luis Garcia, Brady House, C.J. Abrams, Jacob Young, Dalen Lilly. Those first 6 bats, and even Keibert Ruiz, man. These guys can really get after this pitcher in Lodolo, who's had some control issues, who's given up some sharp contact. In this spot here, man, I'm going to have to go with the Washington Nationals once again, like we did yesterday, plus money. If you wanted to take the plus 1.5, I don't hate it. But like I told you guys, only about 10% of the time is the run line really relative in MLB games. We don't see it too often. Even yesterday, if you would have taken the plus 1.5 with the Rockies, it wouldn't have really been too relative. You know what I mean? The minus 1.5 is typically more relative to the winning team than it is the losing team. And if it's the opposite, where it's the underdog wins, then you'd want to be on the plus money line. You know what I mean? You wouldn't want to give up the juice to the plus 1.5. So in today's 13 game slate, or I should say 15, but we're only covering 13, there will probably only be 1 to 2 run lines that are truly decided by a run. So you'll kind of notice that even in like the Giants game last night, which I thought might have been a closer game than what it was, that I believe might have had a plus 1.5 run line, and it hasn't been useful for the Giants at all. They've won both games outright by multiple runs. So that's the point in case right there, guys. Give me the Washington Nationals, man, on the money line at plus 134. All right, Phillies, Red Sox. Red Sox have the better pitcher on the mound. Sonny Gray's looked great this season, but the thing is he's a righty, and the Phillies can hit righties. Painter has not been good. But the bats, man, the bats for the Red Sox just haven't been there. And until the bats wake up and start showing me they can be more consistent, I'm going to have to ride with the bats with the Phillies. If this was a left-handed pitcher and the Phillies have shown us they can't hit lefties, I may lean Red Sox here. But look, the Phillies, they snuck out a win against the Red Sox in kind of an ugly game yesterday. I think we might see more of the same unless, the bottom half of that order really gets going for the Phillies, which it really hasn't done this year. It's really only been the Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner show, and occasionally Bryce Harper. But these other guys, Marsh, Garcia, Bohm, none of these guys have really done a ton in the lineup week to week. I might be discrediting Marsh a little bit. He's batting .353, so I'm probably discrediting him a little bit. But if you look at the rest of these guys, especially, Alex Bohm is, Bohm has played under his ability. Garcia, he hasn't hit the home runs on the season that you would expect, only 4 for such a big power hitter in a power lineup where they're pitching away from Bryce Harper and pitching away from Kyle Schwarber. So in this spot, though, I do like the bats for the Phillies. Give me the Phillies on the money line. Once again, plus money value. You could give a look at the plus 1.5. It could be one of those tight games like it was yesterday, just to the fact that Sonny Gray has been playing so great with a sub-4 ERA. But give me the Phillies on the money line, plus 112. All right, going into the Blue Jays and the Rays. Look, the Rays bats have just been unstoppable. You can't strike them out, but they're going up against Dylan Cease tonight, dude. 2.5 ERA. Cease has looked great. He's 3-1 in his 4 starts. The only loss he had was the bats didn't back him up. I think that the bats against Griffin Jacks back him up tonight. Give me the Blue Jays on the money line. I think this could be one of those games where the run line is not relative. So if you wanted to take the minus 1.5, the Blue Jays, go for it at plus 140. But once again, the bats with the Rays do scare me because they could sneak some late runs to maybe get it within a run or two. I'm just going to rock money line, minus 154. Give me the 75% return, and let's keep it moving. All right, guys. Detroit going up against the Mets. You got Valdez on the mound. Valdez hasn't looked too sharp this year. He's 2-2, but you could argue that the bats haven't backed him up either in a couple of those starts. Christian Scott, I mean, he's getting ready to go off. He's not the strongest pitcher in this rotation. This is kind of a coin flip game here. I don't really love either side today. The Mets did get the win yesterday. I kind of leaned towards the Tigers yesterday if I was going to take a play on that one, just because I like the bats for the Tigers a little more than I liked what I've seen out of the Mets. Look, I think you can get after both of these pitchers. I don't think that this is one of those games where it's all going to come down to who gets more hits and who drives in the runs. Look, we saw yesterday the Royals lose to the White Sox, and the Royals out-hit the White Sox, I want to say 13-6 or 13-7. They pretty much doubled their production on hits, and the White Sox beat them because the White Sox hit a 3-run homer and then 2 solo bombs. They had 3 home runs off of the pitching. I think we could see more of that here today in this matchup where the Detroit Tigers steal a couple home runs or the Mets steal a couple home runs. So I like the over here in this matchup. Give me the over 8.5. And if you want me to lean aside, force the play aside, I would go back to the Detroit Tigers minus 106. I think Valdez has more of a bounce back spot today and shows us the guy that we kind of knew him to be last season. So give me the Tigers today, minus 106 on the money line. Keep it moving. Cubs, Atlanta. This was a great game yesterday, man. A lot of us, I saw a lot of people here on Atlanta yesterday. A lot of people trying to be sharp as well with the Cubs. I think that this is just a great series. You have some of the hottest bats in the MLB right now with the Cubs. You've got a really solid offensive team and pitching rotation with the Braves. I can't really get myself there to fade the Braves in this spot, guys. Reason being is, I know they got one of their studs out there on the mound tonight in Emenyaga for the Cubs, but point in case is this. Richie's not been too bad this year pitching wise. I know they got Reynaldo Lopez up here, but it's going to be Richie tonight for the Braves. And he's thrown some good stuff, some decent games. I don't think Acuna's back in the lineup yet, but it's showing him back in the lineup here on the site. Got a couple bugs we're going to have to work out here, I believe, just to make sure, we're giving the proper information. But, yeah, Acuna's not going to be in there tonight. And Reynaldo Lopez, it's going to be Richie. So, look, you could give me an argument here for the Cubs. Especially for the value here at, well, I guess they're the favorite, minus 138 because they got him in Yaga. I'm going to go value with the Braves. Richie's still been throwing really good stuff. Give me the Braves at plus 118 on the money line. Look, they're 29-13 for a reason. I do know this was a decent game last night, 2-5. Could have went either way. Cubs stranded a couple runners a couple times. But I want to be on the Braves side of things here at Truist Park. And also, I believe they just have better bats in their lineup. I know that the bats have been hot for the Cubs, but the Cubs strikeouts too much for me. I know Richie doesn't have the best strikeout stuff, but he's had some good outings, and I want to back the Braves here, that plus money on the money line. All right, moving on into the game that got us yesterday. I really liked the Kansas City Royals yesterday versus the White Sox, and it was a great game. Back and forth, they tied it up, then they gave the solo shot up that ultimately did them in, and they lost that game. But it was a great game for most of the way, but they were playing from behind the whole time. You know what I mean? They gave up that shot in the eighth that ultimately beat them. I think that if the Royals could have got to extra innings where they put a runner on second with their speed and their ability to hit the ball with Witt, Miguel Garcia, Caglione, Pasquantino, Perez, they find a way to win that game. But ultimately, their pitching did them in. It's kind of been the issue with the Royals this season. When the Royals were looking really bad, they weren't hitting the ball because they had bad pitching. When they weren't hitting the ball well, that's a real bad combo. No, you don't have good pitching to support the low-scoring games, and then you don't have the hitting to win games. So this is just one of those things where the White Sox have been kind of sneaky good this season. They've snuck out a lot of wins that I think we didn't think they would. Lugo's on the mound tonight for the Royals, and you got Schultz on the mound for the White Sox. Both these guys have been decent, The difference is Lugo's got strikeout stuff. Schultz doesn't. I'm going to go back to the well here with the Royals. I believe they get this one done tonight. Give me the Royals on the money line, minus 112. We'll keep it moving. All right. Play I like a lot here, guys. This is a play I like a lot here. Miami Marlins, Twins, playing at Target Field. Look, Woods Richardson's given up some of the biggest, sharpest contact in the league right now. He's given up multiple home runs in multiple games. He's given up, I believe, a home run in the last 5 starts he's had. So he's 0-5. And you've got minus 124 on the money line for the Marlins with Max Myers, who's one of their better pitchers in the rotation. And he's got good strikeout stuff, Max Myers isn't a bad pitcher. Decent strikeout stuff. I think the better bats, you could argue, are with the Twins. They have better hitters, better power, but I can't get away from Max Myers. 2-0, sub-3 ERA, looking really sharp here. Xavier Edwards has been decent this year. Liam Hicks has been great in my opinion. Stowers is back in the lineup. He gives them that power. If Marcy can get going like he did last year, he's kind of a core piece of their lineup that really drives everything. If he can get going and Ramirez can get going a little bit more, this is going to be a dangerous lineup, especially when you roll out starters like Yuri Perez, roll out starters like Max Myers. You get them, even Alcantara, he can give you some really solid starts. So this Miami Marlins team is sneaky, and I like them a lot here on the money line for minus 124, guys. I think they get the win here in Target Field tonight and keep it moving. I know that they took the L yesterday, 0-3, but with a better pitcher on the mound today, in my opinion, and some solid bats against Wood Richardson, who hasn't been sharp. He's lost 5 starts, and he's given up a lot of contact. Go ahead and give me the Marlins, minus 124 on the money line. All right, another good game. Padres lost to the Brewers last night, 4-6. Brewers have their ace going in Izorski today, and then you got Michael King going for the Padres. You got a great pitching matchup. I would definitely look at the no-run first inning here. I think it's probably priced out at minus 184, so you could pair that up with something else. As far as maybe that Blue Jays game is a spot to look for another no-run first inning. But we could move into this one and talk about it a little bit more. I think that the it's going to be relative. That plus 1.5, I think, will be relative in this one. I said there's always 1 to 2 games in each card that's going to be a relative score, a relative run line. I think it is here as well. Minus 172, plus 1.5. Give me the Padres here. I think Michael King has a decent enough start that he keeps them within a run or two. And I think that's why it's relative. I think that this game could see more of what we saw yesterday. It was a 4-6 ball game. I could see it being more of the same, 5-6, 3-4 type ball game. Not sure who wins this thing outright on the money line. Brewers like to play small ball, and we all know that the Dodgers, they hit the ball well, but they struggle to drive in runs at times. Typically when they win their games, it's because they've got the bases with 2 on and somebody goes yard, or they got 1 on, somebody goes yard. So if they get a ball off on Izorski today, we may see, the Padres get a win outright. But I'm going to just play the safe side here and take the plus 1.5 at minus 172, as I believe the Dodgers and Michael King, or not Dodgers, Padres and Michael King keep this thing close enough to where that's a relative run line. All right, moving on into the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Dodgers, guys. Another great game. I like this series a lot. We've got Nelson going tonight and Kumar Rocker. Rocker actually has been decent. I know he's 1-4, 5 ERA, but he's kind of been decent in his starts. I don't hate what I've seen out of him. I know he's been kind of one of the more questionable pitchers in the Rangers starting lineup, but I don't mind what I've seen out of him. You know what I mean? Like, and they won 4-7. That was a game where I kind of thought maybe the Diamondbacks could pull it out yesterday, but they didn't. But look, I'm just gonna go with the bats here. What team has the better bats? Because I don't believe there's a true advantage on pitching tonight. I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks here. I think the Diamondbacks steal one. They bounce back. They drive in some runs. They haven't been hitting the ball that well. That 1-0 win just the other night, and then they just lost 4-7 yesterday. Rangers do hit the ball really well. They drive in a lot of runs. They're one of the top scoring teams in the MLB late. They didn't do that yesterday. They got out to an early start, scoring all their runs in the first 5. But I'm going to go to the Diamondbacks here today. Minus 106 on the money line. Give me the Diamondbacks here to get the win. I'd give them a look on the first 5 innings as well. All right. Mariners, Astros. You got McCullers on the mound. Bryce Miller. Look, McCullers, he's a questionable pitcher, and so is Bryce Miller. Like, when McCullers is on the mound, he's got good strikeout stuff. But I don't know if I can get there with the Astros today. I really don't. Bryce Miller, I prefer Bryce Miller as a pitcher over McCullers. He tends to put guys on base. He gets a lot of walks. I don't have a ton of confidence in him, honestly. I trust Bryce Miller more. I trust the bats out of the Astros a little bit more with Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, who hasn't been hitting the ball that great as of late. Christian Walker, same thing. But they rely so much on those 2 guys to create scoring opportunities for the rest of the lineup that I can't bring myself to bet the Astros here. I just feel like it's a letdown spot. I know the Mariners got the W, and the Mariners have been rolling here lately. But I'm going to go back to the Mariners tonight, minus 124 on the money line, and that's where we're going to go with that one, guys. All right, St. Louis A's. St. Louis is so slept on, dude. Like, they just really are. They just keep finding a way to win ball games. They did it again yesterday against the A's, ripping off some runs early, having that 4-run inning. Then the A's followed it up with a 3-run inning. You're like, okay, we got a game here, 4-3. And it kind of stayed that way for a while. And then they pulled away in the 6th, scoring another 2 runs. They've got some serious power in that St. Louis lineup. But you can make the argument that the A's have power as well. Look, I'm going to lean A's here for 2 reasons. The A's have power just like the Cardinals do. Bat for bat. Weatherholt went yard yesterday. But give me Soderstrom over Weatherholt any day. Herrera, power, but give me Langeliers over Herrera any day. Burleson and Kurtz. Give me Kurtz over Burleson any day, right? Like Jordan Walker now and Brent Rooker. I'll take Jordan Walker. Nolan Gorman, Jacob Wilson. For power-wise, give me Gorman, right? Mason Wynn and McNeil. Give me McNeil. Like, they're about equal when it comes to long ball ability in a very hitter-friendly ballpark. So I'm going to have to make my decision based on the better pitcher. I know we don't have the data here for JT Ginn, but in JT Ginn's starts, he's looked good. I like what I've seen out of him. Liberatore is gettable. He's given up a lot of sharp contact, and this isn't the team you want to give contact up to. I know that was kind of the outlook we had on the A's yesterday, but honestly, give me the A's here. Money line, minus 146. It's nothing sexy, but I think the A's get this one done in a bounce back spot after taking a loss yesterday. All right, last game of the night, San Francisco Giants, Los Angeles Dodgers. Ohtani's on the bump. Man, this is a hard one to cap for the simple fact that the Giants have beat them 5 times in a row. Like, this is where kind of like blurs your vision a little bit. You want to say, man, this is the one that they get. But the one they should have got was yesterday. Yamamoto was on the bump. That's your best pitcher. That's your ace. Freddie Freeman has dogged Hauser time and time again. Ohtani, he went yard. He got you guys off to an early start. They couldn't drive runs in. Stranded the bases, loaded. I mean, I don't know what the issue is with this Dodgers team against the Giants. And, the Giants have Robbie Ray on the mound tonight as well. Another solid pitcher. I'd look for a no-run first inning in this game as well. But this is a tougher one to call because part of me wants to say the Dodgers are going to wake up and win this one. This is the one. So, and I don't want to take the money line at minus 230. It doesn't make sense. So give me the minus 1.5 at 105. The Dodgers bats to wake up tonight. They're going to create some runs. They're going to drive some runs in. We'll see if they can do it. They haven't been able to do it yet. But this is going to be a pure spot play, guys. If you take it, minus 105 at a 2-run win by the Dodgers, I think that's the only way they get it done is hit the long ball tonight. I don't think they're hitting the ball well enough to generate runs through the ground. And you really need to have a good sharp showing from Ohtani. That's what's got to happen here today. We know Ohtani's got strikeout stuff, 43 on the year, but so does Robbie Ray. I think this is a lower scoring game as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see the under be alive and active here, under 7.5. But with how the Giants have been hitting the ball, scoring 6 runs off of Yamamoto yesterday, and then, Ohtani being such a good pitcher, I don't know if I want to take the under here. I think I'd rather just put my eggs in one basket, see the Dodgers wake up tonight being the defending World Series champions. Give me the minus 1.5 at minus 105, especially with the value. And ride or die with that one, guys. But yeah, man, take a look at the Marlins game. Take a look at the Braves. Take a look at the Royals. All right, that's where we're at. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you found this information useful, all I ask is please drop a like, make sure to subscribe. And if you want Blowout Alert, it's in the descriptions tab. All of this information, you can grab it. You'll have access to it. We are working on it diligently every day to make sure we're increasing the hit rates. My partner, he sent me a message today. Our player props are absolutely crushing it on here. Look, just the last couple days, I'll read them off to you. On the 8th, we hit our player props at a 90% rate. On the 10th, we hit at a 96% rate. On the 9th, a 96% rate. And you'll see we have some unders being suggested, guys. FanDuel doesn't do a ton of unders. I'd highly suggest going over to a place like Bet365 that does offer unders on MLB props and playing some of these props. I'll be switching over to Bet365 for a lot of baseball moving forward just because of the accuracy of our application and what we've been doing. So the unders are definitely relative in MLB. It's not all overs. I know we like to take, this player's going to get a hit. But you get 4 plate appearances a game, you strike out twice, get walked once, you've got a 25% chance now to get yourself a hit. So I think that the unders are true, and if you look at our data, it would show you that we've hit on a lot of unders on MLB through the application being suggested. You'd go over here to suspects, you'd click on props, and you give it a look on what it's suggesting. It's going under here today on Santiago Espinal, all right, and stolen bases for Will Smith on the under as well. I'm not sure what the juice looks like on those. We'd have to take a look. But once again, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure to drop a like if you want my premium plays. They're posted in the description tab under the Winible link. See y'all next time. Let's get it. Book the one way.